Alright, NT8 on the porch. Boy, do I have a massive subject to talk about today. After I let the dogs out. Come on, dumbass. Quit scratching on the door. Come on. Too cold for you, you pussy. No. NT8 on the porch. Today we got a really wild and woolly subject to talk about. I don't have any box openings because this box was opened a long friggin' time ago. We're going to talk about integrity. We're going to talk about personal accountability. We're going to talk about dealerships. We're going to talk about an honest day's work for an honest dollar. We're going to talk about that Jeep that just ran the stop sign. And no wonder why it's already screwed up. We're even going to talk about major corporations. How about that? You know, dealing with this bike. You guys know I'm not a dumbass. Working on a bike, working on a truck, working on a car. I can do all of it. I can work on all that shit. I got scanners. I got mental diagnostic systems. Pretty much know my way around of any vehicle. And then to aid in that, I'm not afraid to use the engine, my brother, or any other mechanic, and I come to them with my ideas on a diagnosis and say, go ahead, shoot holes in it. What do you think? I'll say it's this. I'll say shoot holes in it. And usually that ends up helping us, or me, go straight to the problem. Now on this dealer thing with the BMW, I talked to the engine about it because it happened on January 1st, so I wasn't going to call roadside assistance and say, come get it, and then let it sit outside the dealership for a day with the keys in it, so some dirtbag could steal the bike and totally blow the engine. So I didn't do that. I brought it. I called my brother. He came out with the trailer. We loaded it in the trailer. We tied it down. And we brought it back, and I said, we're going to drop it off at Joe's. Because I may just go into it and see if it's something stupid. Which, obviously, it turned out to be a valve cover gasket. Now, knowing that I know how to wrench on an engine, and I can tell you some dumbass shit I've done on valve covers. When I rebuilt that Chevy Blazer out there, I short locked it. I took the heads down. I had them dipped and fluxed. I had them shaved so they'd be perfectly flat. And I put my gaskets on them with copper spray and bolted them down. And on the left side, as you're looking at it, which would be the passenger side, I dropped the push rods in, put the rocker arms on, tighten them down. Didn't have to torque them or anything, just had to tighten them down. Well, there was the torque stuff, because it's a hydraulic lifter cam. So I did all that. Boom. Put the valve cover on. And then the next thing I did is I went straight over to the driver's side and I put the valve cover on. Torqued the valve cover nuts down, heads down, all that shit. Turned around, and here's the rocker arms and the push rods sitting on the bench. I did that. I didn't start it, but I did that. I'm not afraid to admit, yeah, shit happens. So when I go out to that dealer yesterday, and pretty much I got the aura of, we don't want to admit shit, like I'm going to sue them or whatever. The bike's under warranty for 2.5 more years, so what are you afraid to admit? You fucked up? Okay, you fucked up. Fix it, and we'll go on. Don't give BMW a bad name because you fucked up. Which is one of the main reasons I did not go back to Kawasaki, because them pieces of shit won't back up shit. My dealer would have, but he's 40 some miles away because I don't want to pay these clowns that are 12 miles away an extra $500 so they can assemble the bike. An assembly fee on a motorcycle? Really? You guys pay that? I'm not paying that. It's not a new fucking car. That's called dealer prep fees. There are no dealer prep fees on a bike. They open up the crate, they hoist the bike up. They have to do this either way. Whether it sits on the showroom floor and then they disassemble it, put it back in the crate and send it back, or whether somebody comes in and buys it, or somebody comes in and test rides it. They still have to do that. They have to do that to put it on the showroom floor. So these dickwads down here, I will not buy a bike from. And I got an angle on that too. Me and a buddy of mine at work. So that's irregardless. So I went in there yesterday and picked up the bike. And he gave me the receipt, showed me the receipt, and it said some insignificant amount. It was like $30, $35. I'll be nice and say $50. But on there they had 3 quarts of oil. I'm not paying for the oil because, and I told him, I said, I'm not paying for the oil because your gasket failed. And he rogered right up to that, as I said in yesterday's video, and he took the oil off. When I talked to the guy before, the other guy, I told him, put a new filter in it because you're gonna have to put oil in it. So we might as well just make it an oil change. So put the oil in it. So okay, so they put a filter in it, and then to drain whatever oil was left in it, they pulled the drain plug, and my bike has a crush seal on the drain plug. I'm fine with that. So on there was a $2 charge for the drain plug. And then whatever the oil change fee or whatever, I don't know, I don't really. It turned out to be like $20. And I'm like, I can shit $20. $20 is a case of beer to me. I don't really give a shit. So then when that mechanic came in, and I said, what'd you forget to do? Did you forget to torque the valve covers down? Did you seat the gasket wrong? Did you not replace the gasket? He said, oh no, they're reusable gaskets. Right then, I just looked at him and went, really? Okay, so it held for, I don't remember what my mileage is now. So it held for 3,000 miles, or no, 2,750 miles, I'll say. And then you had to go in and change the decompression lever because I asked about that before I bought the bike. And the salesman told me, yeah, that's been fixed. And I said, how about the front fender? Yeah, that's been fixed. Now, remember back when I bought this, all my info was coming, for my research, was coming from Europe on the late 2010, 2011 bikes. So I knew about the front fender. I knew about the decompression lever. So I covered those 2 points. And when I looked at the bike and I compared it to what I had seen on videos where the fenders had broken over in Europe, it was shorter. So I thought, hey, geese are flying south. What is this, January? Really? Anyway, they're leaving Crazy D's. They're leaving Crazy D's. They're just now getting here. I think that was his PBC ride 30, probably 2. Anyway. So, I knew about these issues and I brought them up to him. Oh yeah, it's been fixed. It's been fixed. And I don't know if this guy's the assistant manager or just the head salesman. So I caught him in a lie there. Okay? I caught him in a lie there. The decompression lever, I caught him in the lie. If you don't know, admit you don't know. I'm fine with that. Don't leave me fucking hanging with a bike that, I don't know, can I trust it or not? Now remember, I don't remember how many miles it was. I went all the way to Chicago, down to Indianapolis, and back over the summer on that bike. Okay. So then when I call them up and I tell them the bike's coming out there and I said, don't start it, there's no oil in it. Okay, they complied with that, to my knowledge. That truck driver, big fat guy, I called him and I said, where's the bike? He said, it's in the garage, we pushed it in there. Excellent. I'm a happy camper. I utilized my sources. So then, the next day, about, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, the guy calls me up and tells me it's the valve cover gasket that went bad. He said, the valve cover gasket will not be in till Tuesday. So I stewed on that for about 30 minutes, and then I went, nah, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. So I called him back up, and the manager answered the phone. And I said, I identified myself. I said, this is Tom with the Barbie bike. And I said, that gasket coming in Tuesday, that's not going to work. I want it overnight. Back in my mind, I'm thinking, worst case, I'll pay for the overnight freight. I don't really give a shit. I got money. But then they have to argue with me face to face. So then, the next day they call me up. Yep, it's ready. I'm like, all right. Well, I called them at noon and I said, or 10 o'clock, I said, the gasket come in? And I got the first guy. He's like, yeah, it's in. He's going to get working on that here in just a few minutes. And I said, okay, I'll talk to you later on this afternoon. He said, I'll call you when it's done. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I go out there, and dickhead number one's not there, but the manager's there. He gives me the bill, and I said, yeah, I'm not paying for the oil. All right, so I got the bike. I got the bike back. We're good to go. But that's basically lie number 2 on this clown, because they should have known when they checked it out that the fucking valve cover gasket was loose. But are you afraid to tell me the mechanics didn't tighten it up enough? We've never seen that gasket fail. That's when I got out of it. I was like, okay, that doubles the whole thing down that they screwed it up. The dealer, not BMW. I have total faith in that bike. Except for, okay, the decompression lever's done, then they touched it, and then they fucked it up. Now, right now, I cannot buy a service manual for that bike yet. As soon as that is available, I'm going to order it, and they're not going to touch it again. Just like nobody touched my KLR except for warranty. So, what's up with businesses these days? They don't want to take personal accountability for, yeah, we fucked it up. Yeah, we didn't tighten this shit down. Yeah, we didn't get the gasket seated. Even Hank Two Wheels. Not that I'm trying to degrade him, but he's basically in the same mindset. Nobody's touching his bikes. He's done several valve covers. And the gaskets are reusable. And he never has an issue reusing them. But it's his bike. So he makes sure, just like I do, make sure that my shit's right when I work on something. Is this a hard concept for businesses to understand? Are you paying your help too cheap? Are you hiring the wrong people? Or are you rushing them? When I worked as a mechaneck, I was never rushed. My boss never told me, you got to get this done. You got 2 hours to get this done. I never heard that. If it had to be done in 2 hours, then there would be 2 mechanics working on it. This is wintertime, nobody rides. So I guess the moral of the story is, the only thing I can hit on BMW for is that faulty lever that I knew about from 2010, 2011 over in Europe. And I think I got the early 2012. So they just renumbered the son of a bitch. And it's actually a 2011 engine. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't care. It was brand new. It doesn't matter. I don't care what year it is. It's good for resale value that the bike is listed as 2012. But I like the bike so much that I'm not going to sell it. 3 years, maybe 2 years, I'm buying the 800. And that's as big as I'm going to go, and that's going to be the last bike. So I'll have Barbie for fun and the 800 GS for road trips and shit. But Barbie will still make road trips because I really like the fucking bike. I just don't get where they lost the message as it comes down the chain. So when you got BMW building fine quality shit just like Kawasaki does and everybody else does, by the time it gets down to the dealer, they don't give a shit. They don't want to stand behind it. They don't want to stand up and say, "Oh, that's all our fault. We'll fix it. Don't worry about a goddamn thing." What happened to that? Alright, this has gone too long. I'm just guess I'm just pissed off. I'm pissed off that I have to deal with a shoddy ass dealership. Because I really think that's a good bike. And when it broke down the second time, I had already stated in the previous videos that that's exactly what I thought. They didn't get something tightened up, and I still believe that. It's just they didn't have the guts to stand up and take personal accountability for not doing the job right in the first place. And I, for one, will stand up and tell you, when I fuck up, I fucked up. You won't see it on a lot of videos because I won't even post it, because I'll be like, I'm not putting this shit up because I fucked it up. Whatever. NT8 on the porch. You guys figure it out.